The Carolina Panthers strike again. Bryce Young has been benched, and Andy Dalton is now the starter in Charlotte. Boys, we expected something to happen, but did we expect it to happen this quickly? Will, first of all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone saw something like this happening this early in the season. That being said, big respect to the head coach. You know, this is a hard decision to make, and I think he values winning football games more than necessarily pleasing the last regime. And also, he values keeping that locker room sound. I mean, Bryce isn't playing well. He looks lost out there. I think in the pre-show, me and Pete were talking, and I was saying how he looks like a college player trying to play NFL, trying to play quarterback in the NFL. He's being thrown around. He's missing easy throws. I don't know how it is in practice, but I think this decision isn't made lightly. I think the locker room as a whole wants to win games, and they know that the QB right now isn't going to get it done currently and isn't going to get it done going forward. Now, I actually joked around with Pete at the start. I was like, you know what? All these rookie QBs, like, can we go back to sitting rookie QBs their rookie season? Then I realized this is his second year. And he played all of last year. So he hasn't got that backup either. I kind of feel as though they have to do this, but how do you come back from this? You know, this is the organization. I don't think you can. I think this is it.
No, this is not it for him in the NFL. This could be it for him in Carolina, because what we have seen is Carolina, they can't deal with a quarterback. Because you look at the two quarterbacks who have been through there recently, Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield, they're both playing well.
Yeah, that's an indictment.
So that's that's an indictment. So, as far as his career is concerned, he's obviously going to have to take. The thing is, what tends to happen, what we've seen recently, is when the team makes a QB change this early, and then they'll start losing with Andy Dalton, so they'll flip flop, and it will not do him any good.
Yeah.
Now, this is an organization that is known to make impulsive decisions as well, with Tepper being the owner there, so it's not a situation that's nice for him. You look at this game. Bryce Young was 18 for 26, 84 yards, 1 interception, obviously no touchdowns, sacked twice. Probably should have been sacked more times. Their team just doesn't look good.
No.
On the offensive side of the ball, they just don't seem to have anything.
Yep, I mean, you've got Chuba Hubbard, 10 carries, 64 yards, didn't amount to a TD score. They didn't score any touchdowns. Miles Sanders went from that team from my Eagles. I mean, I feel sorry because he's a good player, but he's going to rot away on this team. This might be it, as far as he's not going to get another deal, being stuck in Carolina, going out the hard way. Like, there's a lot of players on this team that have potential, but they're never going to see the light of day. Jadeveon Clowney's on this team. Shaq Thompson's on this team. You know, so it's Adam Thielen. This is the farewell tour, and it's with the Carolina Panthers not going anywhere. They made moves in the offseason to try.
I think Deontay Johnson's a big one, right? Because obviously he made that move, and he can't get thrown the ball with it. He had 6 targets in this game, 3 catches for 15 yards. I feel really sorry for Panthers fans, because they have, under this ownership, they have had just bad situation after bad situation after bad situation. They've gone through head coaches like nobody's business. Peter, what are your thoughts on this? Because as far as Bryce is concerned, yeah, everyone perceived him as the number 1 quarterback, when he got drafted, but were there any alarming signs that went around draft time? Were there any signs that you thought it's a red flag here kind of thing for you?
I think he's just being found out a little bit, and also the situation that he went in his rookie year is kind of like maybe has done more damage than we realized. Because from a draft perspective, I think going back to the draft, at the time, if I can remember correctly, the
He was
Panthers
consensus
had
one, right?
across the media he was
Yeah.
consensus one, but within the Panthers organization, remember they had the that quarterback that played for the Texans and nearly became their head coach. They did not listen, so it became Bryce Young as a de facto guy. But it's kind of like any move to change course wasn't welcomed at the time. I think the Panthers wish they had done different at this time in point, and I think and what makes it so hard for them to evaluate, and they had to make the decision because I think Dave Canales is thinking, "It's my first year on the job. I've got to jumpstart the team. I've got to make some decisions, and I've got to think about the team winning above everything else instead of the development of Bryce Young." Because they could have stuck with Bryce Young for the rest of the season, and then maybe he would have picked up in the second half of the season, but then they would have also ended up with the number one draft overall pick, which will cause another discussion about do you stick with him or do you draft somebody else like the Bears had similar with Justin Fields and sort of try and start resurrecting his NFL career because right now it doesn't look good at all. I mean the stat lines that he's having is kind of similar to Justin Fields without the rushing ability because Justin Fields at least was athletic enough to run the football, to pick up yards, to make plays with his feet. You know, there was certain game Justin Fields did rush for 200 yards, I think, in one of the games, and Bryce Young don't have that ability. So you're posting the passing stats of Justin Fields when he was with the Bears, but the rushing ability on the other side is not there. And I think in today's modern NFL, especially with quarterbacks, if your passing numbers are not good, you got to make production some otherwise. I can even go all the way back and even talk about Danny Dimes. I mean, I think when you gave him that nickname, Dilly, like he wasn't passing the ball, but he was running, he was rushing, he was trying to make something happen any way he can.
Get first downs. That's what
exactly. So try and find a way to make plays. And I think today's modern NFL places so much on young quarterbacks to be able to be mobile in that aspect of the game. As in, like the NFL is not back in the day whereby you get a 2 to 3 year period as an amount of raw pick to develop before they officially call you a bust. They're willing to bring out the pitchforks after your first season and early in your second season. It is a shock because we were not expecting it this early in the season, but
here's the thing: like if these games were close and he was putting up 24 points, but they were just losing by one score, but he looked like he could get things done, noticeable improvement, and I think that's the biggest part. You know, people want to see that he's improved. Usually you see some kind of progression from the rookie season into year two, but this is more of the same from last year. So it's like, what were you doing this whole offseason to prepare? They kind of gathered the Avengers as far as like a coaching staff, which is very good, but they had an impatient and impulsive owner that decided to get rid of those guys halfway through the season. You know, and that does a lot to a rookie QB. You're learning a different offensive scheme. So all the verbiage is different. You've got to learn a new playbook. And if you head into like year two with that new playbook, it's all good. But if not, you know, it's not going to bode well.
I think I'll give you an example here. Sorry to interrupt. I'll give you an example. For example, Bo Nix, right? He hasn't played very well as a rookie at all.
Nope,
but when you look at his but when you look at his numbers in comparison, right? Bo Nix, yesterday for the Broncos, he threw for about 250 yards. 2 INTs, no touchdowns. But when you look at those passing yards, it gives you something. It gives you as an offensive coordinator, head coach saying that, okay, we can get this guy there. It's going to take some time, but he's going to get there. That is encouraging signs. But when I'm seeing 84 yards, and that doesn't bode well at all. And that's why I said if your passing numbers are not going to be good as a quarterback in today's NFL, you got to have some rushing ability. Like Jaden Daniels for the Washington Commanders haven't been great, but he's
got upside in the other parts of his game, so that's the important thing there.